got a lot today. We are live.
Hi, welcome to the StockinetteZombies. I'm Amy, also known as J Nitma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It. And this is episode 450. 450. Half of 900.
Yeah,
Ah, we were just lamenting that. I mean, that not only are our kiddos going to school, but are going off to college here shortly, but our kiddos are going back to school here shortly.
yes, yeah, and it's only less than 2 weeks away. And
Yes.
of course, both of our kids had to schedule their move-in day for the day that uh, the kids are in school. So it's like, oh my gosh, I can't take the
It's
school-aged
a
kids with
weird,
me.
it's like for me, it's weird because like Wisconsin doesn't start until after Labor Day.
Okay.
Generally, Rochester Public Schools doesn't start until after Labor Day. So it's kind of a weird, like if she were actually starting like when normal colleges start, she would have moved in here
Right.
sooner than the when they are. And then yeah, Rochester Public Schools is early this year. I think they're going forth with that. So
Yeah. Early and then the classes start later.
mhm.
Yeah.
For the
It's
olders, for the olds.
yeah, for the olds, yeah. It's interesting though. I mean, like,
Yeah,
yeah,
no.
we're not going to necessarily be around for rides. We got to get that driver driving.
Yeah.
But
Or take the bus. That's been an option in my house.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Already taking the bus. Yeah, just want to like. I think it would be better for them if they could drive, especially with
Yeah,
sports.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We did not draw for the July self-striping last time, and then last week got
Mm.
away from both of us. So I did draw. And the winner for our July self-striping can either choose as an item from our shop or this beautiful skein of woolens and nosh.
Mhm.
It is holographic glow is the colorway.
Ooh.
Lots of purples and yellows and a darker like navy. Really, really enjoy it. And the winner was Steph A. Johnson, and she made one of the gnomes actually out
Oh,
of
fun.
Woolens and Nosh's, self-patterning skein. So
Okay.
yes, very cool.
Congratulations. I
Yes.
just wanted to say that I have yet to send out the KL prize that I needed to do. So I apologize, and I will try to get that in the mail this weekend.
Mhm. I got some things mailed recently um, that had been waiting since ZK. So
Yeah,
I
no,
hear you.
life
I
is,
hear you. They're just
we're in a
like the days are just slipping through my hands. I don't quite know where they go.
Yeah, we're in a busy season of life. I'm
Yes.
giving myself a lot of grace.
Excellent. Excellent. So yeah, that and get your entries in for our keeping it classy quarter. I see
Yes.
that we've got a couple of people that have quite a few of them. And I pretty much specialize in uh fingering, but the I also made that top out of the Noro, which was DK. And I had a lace one that I had held double with that my previous quarter usage was going to be.
Mhm.
So um yeah. And
I
then
am,
as part of like all of the moving, did some culling of the herd and pulled a super bulky and a worsted. So I'm well on my way with the classy. I still have to do something for a neck though.
oh,
Yep.
yeah, I'm excited to get through the categories. I got bulky and fingering done pretty much right away, but I've decided the one I'm counting here, I don't know if it's DK or worsted. I think I might go worsted. It's Rios. It's like 210
Yeah.
per skein. So, it's not the 250 that some of my DKs are,
Mhm.
but it's not quite the 200 that maybe people count for worsted. I don't know.
Mhm.
It's that good in betweensies.
Mhm.
But yep. you'll see it here shortly with whips. So,
Yeah, let's go.
all
I
right,
don't have
cool.
anything more.
So I have this doodle sock where I decided to do, I have the 8-bit, I think it's 8-bit, the 8-bit doodle set, digital copy. And so I put it into a sock. And this
So
is just
fun.
me grokking a sock and then putting a doodle into it. But
So fun. It's a very
but this is,
brilliant orange.
yeah, it's kind of like a foxy brown orange. Yeah, it's very, very pretty.
Mhm.
And these yarns are from Eat Sleep Knit. So this is going to go into their having a stranded sock knit along. And in order to get more stars, playing the games, I decided to do
Very
two.
fun.
So this is my third sock of four, and my fourth is just a toe.
Yeah.
So as soon as this is pretty close to getting to where I would start doing aliens again, my
Hmm.
Space Invader aliens.
Yeah. It reminded me of when we were in Paris, they had Space Invaders that were like tiles that were up on
Mm.
the and there was actually a game, like when you scanned them, you got points.
Oh,
So almost like you were shooting them. And then like and it was like GPS located, right? And there's like there was certain ones that were worth more points. And during the Paris Olympics, they showed that the Space Invader guy had made a new one for the Olympics in Paris.
oh,
So
fun.
yeah, but they're kind of
Very
hidden in
cool.
plain sight.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a scavenger hunt if you're going to
Yes.
Paris. Oh,
Yes.
fun.
Look it up. You'll enjoy it if you're
Yes.
going to Paris, amongst
Yeah.
other things.
No, I'm just going for the Space Invaders.
Clearly why you should go.
Clearly. Hi, this is my Stripe-tastic sweater. This is a test knit that
Ooh.
I'm doing. So the stripes are done and I'm on the sleeves. So I got a sleeve to go. And this is Malabrigo Rios, like I said, from Eat Sleep Knit. So I'm going to have some more yardage to put into hopefully getting more stars.
Mm.
But I'm really enjoying the pattern. Nothing too fancy. They wrote in, um, she, the designer wrote in all of the different striping options. So this one was just kind of like, and she wrote in like, go until this way and then do your she wrote in all of the instructions. So while it's a very basic box drop sleeve sweater, um, I think she had 4 or 5 patterning options in the stripes. So
Very cool.
yeah. And then something I hadn't seen before is she had kind of a tall and short version. So
Oh,
if you're have a longer need a longer sleeve, she had a longer sleeve and a shorter sleeve, and all the math done for that. And then I believe that the torso, same difference, right? There was kind of a short and tall version, with guidance around being up to 5'5" and then over 5'10".
hmm.
But I don't know, like, I'll have to read it again. I think I kind of made up my own because I didn't feel like I'm solidly in between those two numbers.
I'm gonna say same.
So, solidly in between those two numbers. So I just decided to kind of play it by ear for
Ah,
the sleeves. But this is not for me. This is for Lou. But I know that they like really long sleeves. So I think that
mhm.
whichever version it will be very wearable. It's a very cozy,
Yeah.
especially on them because she's little.
Yeah.
She's not my large size, she's small. So,
The I think I told you, maybe I told this story on Zcan, but like definitely have sweater envy. Love that blue. Ellie was telling me that the sweaters I make aren't like her style. And I was like, "Oh, could you create me like a mood board of like what the style of sweater is that you would enjoy, right?" Turns out she just wants an oversized sweater, kind of like what you were talking about, right? Like I'm like, "These are all like the sweaters I make, Ellie. Like, what are you talking about?" And she's like, "Yeah, but they're like not as fitted." And I'm like, changing the size of the sweater is like one of the easiest things to do. Like that's a variation on the theme. Like I'm making it my size. I could make it, it's just a really funny moment. It was it was more about the amount of positive ease than it was
Yes.
about the actual style of sweater. It's making
Oh
color work
yeah.
sweaters, striped sweaters. Like these were all sweaters that I was like, these are exactly like my sweaters, Ellie.
Yeah, no, I definitely noticed that trend with my kid too. Big hoodies, nothing that's super fitted.
Yeah.
Although we got a souvenir sweatshirt and they chose a small, and so it just fits. It's not too big, it's not too small. So that might be changing.
Mhm.
The
Well, the thing
oversize
is
might be
like,
heading out.
yeah, it also makes me question, does she think that my sweaters are like skin tight? I'm like, I think I have positive ease. But I think we're talking like 10 inches of positive ease
Oh
is what
yeah, no,
she's,
at
yeah.
least, if not a foot. Yeah, for sure.
So funny. So funny. Very
Yeah,
pretty. I really like those colors. Did you
yeah.
hand pick them or were they things
And
hiding in your stash?
no, I did hand pick them. The only thing in my stash was the light blue
Mhm.
at the bottom, and everything was chosen to go with it. And mainly because the blue, the dark blue, was picked out, right? So I was like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, I got to buy something because I don't have that dark blue.
Mhm.
And so then I made sure that I picked colors that went with it. And then I'm a little worried because when I knit with it, it has the transfer. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm really worried about when I first get that washing, I might have to pick up some color catchers um and do a quick dunk, you know, like so that I can make sure that it all gets caught and nothing comes into the lighter colors on the sweater.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, very worried. I know that sometimes those colors just kind of bleed off, they don't end up going back on to the fabrics, but I've had it both ways, where you're like, oh, it's transferring on my fingers, oh no. And you wash it and nothing happens, right? Everything just kind of goes into the water and nothing comes back onto the garment. But I'm worried because there is that white in there. Uh, yeah. And that light blue too is right next to the color, so it could bleed.
Mhm.
So yeah, really, really gonna buy like 3 or 4 color catchers, throw them in, or buy a box of them, throw 2 or 3 of them in, and then pray,
Yep.
pray, and then like do a quick dunk, right? You can't soak it for too long,
Yeah.
um, because then they will have time to transfer,
Yes.
if that makes sense to anybody.
Yes, it does to me. It's like marinating. You're not going to let it marinate in the extra.
Exactly. I'm going to dunk it with the color catchers. I'm going to, make sure that it gets properly wet, and then I'm going to pull it out quick. Yeah. So that's my dilemma with those. But those are my 2 active whips, other than the blanket that was too big to bring. So
Yeah.
the 70s Tastic blanket is continuing, and I have that in my no buy. I put in a highlights circle on my Instagram for my no buy. So anytime I'm taking pictures of something, that's probably me consciously saying I don't need to buy any more things.
Yeah.
It's just an outlet for that, like, oh, I feel like I want to buy this thing. Well, I better
Yeah.
just go take pretty pictures and throw them on Instagram, and that's my note by August, so that,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't hit go in that cart. Yeah, the only temptation I have right now is there's a flash challenge with Eat Sleep Knit on that beautiful Caitlin Hunter sweater that just came out with all of the cables and the lace. And I don't have it in my stash, my pattern stash, right? So and then eat, sleep, knit, yarn, I would need three skeins. And there's only one color that I have three skeins of, and it has plans. So I'm like, oh, another temptation to go buy some more yarn. But
Yeah, my yeah project adjacent may may enable you. Needle adjacent project, yeah. Okay, so you can see here, the blanket is
ooh,
still roly-poly, but it's got, so I took 3 strands of yarn,
mhm,
and crocheted a single crochet all the way around the outside, with the wrong side facing. So it helps keep, like, it helps counterbalance. It's still going to need, as you were mentioning, like a very quick dip into some water so that the colors don't bleed. And then, like, especially on like the more horizontal side, I actually like actively roll it under the opposite, against where it's rolling, and we'll pin it that way. And then when I unpin it, it will hopefully be a little less roly-poly, but that's Tunisian crochet. It's been a huge part of what I've been doing, finishing it up. And then also I think I have like literally a pound of ends that I wove in. This is like my badge of I need to like get it shellacked. And somebody told me it's gnome guts. It is pretty good gnome guts. Especially like some very blue. Like my gnome was eating a blue Slurpee. Gnome guts. But yeah, that was a lot. A lot of Olympics was spent weaving in ends. And then I've gone on a bit of a sock kick, which are kind
mhm.
of like quick, not taking up my whole couch, projects that are super portable. And as part of some of my cleaning, I did my like yearly washing of socks, and I'm now like, okay, I've outgrown my 3 containers. I also have another bin that is completely full of clean socks, and yet I still keep making the socks.
It's
But
so
they are a
easy to
project.
knit socks for yourself. I mean,
Yes.
without having to fit somebody else's foot. Yeah. I've learned that my kiddo is the same size as me, so sometimes I'm like, "Do you like these?" before I put them in my stash.
Yeah. Ellie's foot is a little smaller than mine. I think she was hopeful that at some point we would be the same size, but she's still, she's grown. She's grown.
Mhm.
And her feet don't fit yet. But as you know, your feet sometimes change throughout life. So there's still hope that these socks could end up in her drawer, I guess. Or I can just make smaller ones. But yeah, I last night finished a pair. They like there's major trends within my sock drawer. If it's widely variegated, wildly variegated and widely variegated, I guess, in colors, it's a monkey. If it's self-striping, it's often one of my self-striping patterns, like parting it up and getting down, or skews, offs.
Mhm.
And
Blurred
so
lines.
or blurred lines, yeah. But last night I finished up a pair and then grabbed these 2 colors out of my pile of already caked up. This is going to be this is going to be um partying it up and getting down. So you can see I've already got the bias wedge there, and I've started the striping it myself, with this color. There's a little bit of overlap there with the oranges. You
Mm.
can see some of the oranges in there, but we'll see how it turns out. So yeah, a pair of socks there, a needing to block, and then I too want to make a stromboli,
Okay,
which is the Caitlin
Stromboli, thank
Hunter.
you.
Yes. And I showed this last time as a potential bonfire. Bonfire did not get cast on. This is that Pearl Soho linen quill.
Mm,
And I think it would make a fabulous stromboli. In fact, one of the testers made it with this exact base. So, and
okay.
I do have 3 of these as well. So I think this is going to be my next sweater that I cast on. Um, and I'll probably make the sleeves as long as I possibly can
Mm.
with my three skeins. It is like a mid-length sleeve as written. So
Yeah, as
yeah.
written. I did see a bunch of people do no sleeves, and I don't know if that's because they ran out of yarn. And I was actually kind of hopeful that I could get away with two skeins if I didn't do the sleeves because I saw so many people without sleeves and it looked good.
Yeah, a vest.
Yeah.
So
It actually kind of hung over the shoulders a little bit,
well,
so
it's
it
got
was
a
kind
lot
of,
of positive of ease.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I thought they all looked really good.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, again, I feel very like one note and not very interesting, but socks are what I have the mental capacity for amongst all of the other stuff going on at work and at home. So
Yeah, I hear you. I've been crocheting away on my blanket or, my kid's blanket, and I have now 26 squares, which feels like
mhm.
mind-blowingly fast. So if I can get into the 30s or 40s before he heads off, it's like, okay, I'm almost halfway done.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
it's
definitely
funny.
not getting it done in 12 days.
We've started a list for Ellie's packing, and she's got blanket or shopping list. She's got blanket on there, so I think that's kind of funny.
Okay.
A,
Yeah,
she's
I
got a
have.
lot of blankets, but B, she's got one right here. I don't know that she's even like, yeah, she's
Okay.
been so out of it, or not out of it, but like not. I don't think that she's perceived that I've even made it. Maybe she has,
Mhm.
and just as being polite, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah,
The
just
surprise is
wanting you
coming.
to keep the surprise.
Yeah, which is kind, which is kind.
Yeah.
But yep,
Yeah. I
very cool.
definitely have a list too. Need to get shopping this weekend for sure. Want to get it all like organized and packed. And there's only 2 weekends left. Oh my God.
Mhm.
Too soon.
Yes. Yeah. I would definitely recommend though. Really, really enjoyed it. And
Oh yeah.
feel like I haven't weighed it yet, but a ton of single ladies out of my stash in my iteration. And then yours is more color um blocky, right? So
Yeah,
they're
100%.
well, they're
And
both blocks of color, but you know what I'm saying. So
yes, I do. Yeah, I definitely enjoy not having as many ends to weave in on the
there.
style that I chose. But yeah, it goes pretty quick. And I think especially with the way that you're doing it, it gets to be like, I don't know, just a fun color project, right? Which one's going next? Pull it in. For mine, it's more of a get this row done, this
Yeah.
diagonal row done, and then ooh, I get a new color and do that one. And so I'm
Yeah.
2 blocks away from the width.
Mhm.
So I'm very close to having it be less blocks in a row again.
Oop. Yeah. Yeah. No,
No.
that's flying. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. And again, it's just going to be a twin size. So hopefully, yeah, it gets a lot of use.
Excellent. Well, thanks everyone for joining us.
Bye.
Bye, Uvta. All right.
So I haven't